is Star Wars quietly ditching the sequel trilogy? And I'll tell you what my theory is on this. But we've got notes for this story. This is all over the place, too. This is from Just Watch.
Wow.
I can't believe Just Watch picked this up, but I have a theory about this. Badger, if you would.
For longtime Star Wars fans, rumors and online discourse have become almost as constant as the franchise itself. Claims are currently circulating that Disney is quietly moving away from the sequel trilogy, but the idea doesn't hold much weight financially or narratively. While projects tied to Ben Solo and Rey remain uncertain, most discussions are still rooted in speculation rather than confirmed plans from Lucasfilm. Despite the backlash surrounding the sequel era, its impact on fandom culture, romance-focused storytelling, and fan fiction remains undeniable. The sequel trilogy is described as uneven, but filled with strong ideas and compelling characters. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is praised for having solid foundations, while Star Wars: The Last Jedi contains some of the trilogy's best moments. Most criticism centers on Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, especially the return of Emperor Palpatine, a twist viewed as unearned and damaging to the trilogy's larger story. The possibility of eventually retconning or reworking that storyline is presented as a way to strengthen future narratives by focusing more on characters than convoluted plot devices. Characters like Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, Kylo Ren, and Snoke are all seen as having the potential for deeper, worthwhile stories.
You forgot Rose Tico, by the way.
What? Rey's journey, rather, in particular, is viewed as strongest before the revelation tying her lineage to Palpatine, while earlier theories connecting her to figures like Obi-Wan Kenobi feeling more natural and earned. While some fans rejected the ways the sequel trilogy expanded ideas surrounding the Force, those changes are framed as opportunities to explore the galaxy in new directions rather than reasons to abandon the era altogether. Social media and fandom culture are also blamed for amplifying negativity, misinformation, and harassment around the franchise, making it harder for audiences to simply enjoy the universe. Even if the sequel trilogy is less popular than other recent Star Wars projects, that doesn't erase its importance within the canon. Quietly phasing it out would ultimately make little sense for the future of that franchise. And I disavow everything I just read, by the way. That was painful.
I don't think they're going to get rid of the sequels. What they are doing is simply de-emphasizing them. Sequel merch doesn't sell. OT merch does sell, and prequel merch, and that's what they're leaning into. It's as simple as that. They're not erasing it. They're just like, we know what sells. This is what sells. And don't be surprised if they come back with some sequel-inspired film or a Rey-centric feature or series or who knows. But for now, they are de-emphasizing it. What do you guys think?
I mean, it makes sense, you know, just from that standpoint. It's like any company, you know, like Marvel Comics is going to focus more on the popular heroes, the ones that sell, Spider-Man, X-Men, you know, instead of, you know, people that don't sell, like, you know, Captain Marvel. You know, they tried to sell that on us. So yeah, I agree with that. I think that's probably what they're doing. It would make sense just to decanonize the entirety of Disney Star Wars, because it's all been a giant failure. And what's the point of continuing any of these storylines, any of these characters? It's pointless. So just decanonize the whole thing. They've done it before when they took the EU and they moved it to Legends. Right? Just do the same thing with Disney Star Wars. Just move it all to Legends, okay? And then start over with Heir to the Empire. Recast Han, Luke, and Leia, because, you know, Mark Hamill's a disaster and people probably want a new Luke Skywalker at this point. And move forward. Move forward with the franchise. Admit your mistakes. Okay, there's people that out there that need to admit when they were wrong, admit their mistakes, and be done. And then you might have a chance. I'm not saying that people would flock back to Star Wars. You've lost a lot of people permanently forever with your stunts that you did for the last 12 years, but you might get a couple of people back. And to me, that's where they need to go. They need to go in the direction of, hey, we're sorry, mea culpa, we apologize. Hey, here, we're going to do this thing the right way. Okay, that's what they need to do. Will they do it? No. But that's what they should do.
Yeah, it sounds like they just want to ignore it. Like that's obviously I would love for them to Kelvin timeline this whole thing and call it the Ahsoka verse or whatever, and that's that.
Yeah.
Like what happened in the World Between Worlds, cause an alternate timeline. There you go. That's easy. I can explain it right now.
Done.
Easy. But they don't want to admit that. So I feel like the best that they feel like for them to save face is just to ignore it, even though it'd be so easy to do it. I feel like the timeline that people were really prepped to dive deeper into the stories was around the OT timeline in the wake of Andor and season 2 and how that connected well to Rogue One and then through A New Hope. And there seemed to be a lot of goodwill there, and they could have capitalized on that and Kelvin timelined it and then recast Han, Luke, and Leia and do those new stories with that. You have the expanded universe material right there. It's so easy. Why'd they have to make this so difficult for themselves to make money?
Yeah, you don't even have to use the world between worlds. I've said you could easily just open on
Yavin ways
4,
to explain it. Yeah, just
open at the Masasi temples and start zooming in while hearing clips and scenes from the different sequel trilogy movies. And then you get closer, you see Luke Skywalker in like sitting Indian style, crisscross applesauce, and he's like, he's meditating, and then he wakes up. And that was just all
a bad dream.
It was all a dream.
It was all a bad dream. They did that in an entire season of Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Ooh, yeah.
You remember?
It was all a dream.
People are thinking this because, like,
a dream.
Okay, Galaxy's Edge, we finally have Han, Luke, and Leia, and then the next Tales of the Jedi is supposedly going to be Luke Skywalker, and then the only fucking comics that sell are the OG ones. The only Black series that sell are the expanded universe, like Legends. But we won't know until Starfighter. If he fucking drops that Force sensitive kid off at Rey's Academy, we know what we're getting.
Yeah. It'll tee up her movie. But look, while I don't think anybody really cares about the sequels or sequel characters, especially because numbers came out last week, numbers came out about what people are watching. They're not watching the sequels. They're watching the prequels and the OT and among other things. But they're going to remake the original Star Wars trilogy because let me get you excited. Someone's already doing it. They're already doing it now. Check this out.
Oh no.
This is have you seen this? This is so good.
Is this for Spaceballs too?
It's 45 seconds of the original trilogy done in cardboard. Watch this.
Luke, the Force is with you. Use it.
I'm going to blow up your home planet of Alderaan.
No!
Hear that, R2? We have to be careful.
Sure, it's the marshmallow vendor here. Eat the boy! We're in position, drawing their fire.
Wow.
Han Solo.
Princess Leia. I'm having such FOMO. This is all your fault.
Pinch it.
Once Vader has secured the plans, the last of the Republic shall be squashed like little ants.
Cardboard Wars is a real thing.
That's awesome.
I'd rather watch that than The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Better than the prequels.
I'm more excited about that. I love the creativity. So there was a project years ago where they did mixed media, where they redid Star Wars. They used the audio. All you had to do was make 10 seconds. So filmmakers from all over the world like claimed a certain 10 seconds and did that 10 seconds in Star Wars and made it. You can look it up. It's great. I love that.